Hello. Good afternoon, NBA world, YouTube world. Shout out to Instagram, TikTok. I think it should be available. On social media platforms as well. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Yeah, just want to go over a few early predictions, a few early on predictions that I have. Yeah, for excuse me, y'all. Sorry about that.
The pieces. Pressure to settle quickly.
All right, thank you. All right, yeah. Thank you. The early predictions I have for the semis. Sorry about that. First of all, seen a couple games last night, night before, shit like that. Um, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Whatever. Let's have first and foremost. I want to start with the Timberwolves and the Spurs. Get right to it. I like the Spurs in the Wolves going all seven, and those Spurs and the Wolves going all seven, and the semis, the second round semis. Spurs and Wolves going all seven. I have Wimby having a great series. Vassell, they whole starting lineup having a great series. Barnes being the vet with championship experience. Great team. Popovich, the mastermind behind it all. Can't say nothing else about the Spurs, man. Championships, they're going to bring the championships back to San Antonio, man. Yes, sir. Wimby and those guys. Vassell, Castle, Barnes, Champagne. I think he had a shot to tie the game and ended up missing that game. Missing the game winner. He could have put them up by one to win the game. So I think those Timberwolves won by two. I also like their squad as well. The two guards stepping up, Bones and Owinzu. I think his name is the other guard there. They had 40 in the game three in the first round against the Nuggets. He stepped up and Bones stepped up and played his part. Had about 30 points, 20 points, 30 points. Jaden McDaniels had about 30 points a couple games in that series in the first round. I think Edwards is back, maybe not. I think we're missing Dante DiVincenzo. I like those guys back in the day. Even in 2004, they made it to the West Finals. They've been there the last 2 years. Back in the day, they had KG and Marbury. KG advanced with, I think Terrell Brandon was there with KG, but I think Sam Cassell and KG and Latrell Sprewell was the guys that advanced in that 2004 finals with Ernie Johnson, the center, and somebody else. Rest in peace, Malik Sealy. And I think they had another guard. I can't think of his name. Bobby Peels, probably. Bobby Peels or somebody like that. So shout out to the Timberwolves. I've been a great organization. One of my favorite West Coast teams, Western Conference teams. Shout out to them. KG, nothing but real solid. Nothing to say about that team at all. A great organization. Kevin McHale was the president back then. He's started with Boston back in the '80s in his career. Then excelled and advanced in his career. KG, shouts to him doing his thing, doing it over there. What he's doing. KG. Yeah, I think Sam Cassell though. Sam Cassell was also with over there with Minnesota and Boston as well. So kind of the Boston Timberwolves type of Minnesota Celtics, if you will. I don't know, but yeah, man, great organization. But I think they will win tonight, win the series. Got them advancing in 7 games tonight. 7 games for the series. Advancing against Wimby and the Spurs. I got the Lakers. I got the Lakers against the Thunder. I got the Thunder winning that series in 7 and 6. Thunder in 6. No Luka. LeBron last year, maybe 2 years. Last year or two. On his way out. I don't know if maybe last year or two, LeBron agent and things. I don't know. Still looking like a 25-year-old, dunking and everything. So I can't say nothing about him jumping out the gym and running the floor, doing his thing. He that runs the fastest scores the mostest. He that runs the fastest scores the mostest. So that's what I used to, try to play about and go about. So I think the Thunder will win that series in six. The Thunder in six advances to the conference finals. Got them advancing to the finals against the Wolves in the West Finals. So ultimately, the Thunder will win that series in the West Finals. Thunder against the Wolves in the West Finals is my early prediction for that. So Thunder advances to the finals in the East. I got the Knicks advancing. I got my little, what I'm saying, the little blue and black and blue and orange. I think orange and blue skies. I think the Knicks will advance more sharp this year. Adding some more weapons, more potent this year. Real shooters, lethal, point guard, shooting guards, whatever you want. G for every bump on your face, every nap on your head, baby, whatever you want to be. I'm just playing. The Knicks, nigga. The Knicks, man. Just shout out to them, Walt Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston, Trish Childs, John Starks, those guys. John Starks came out of Oklahoma here in the Midwest, Oklahoma, it's down there in Tulsa. He came out of there in '87, I think. So shout out to them, shout out to all them that came through there, Chris Childs, all them. All those guys, Yeah, so Charlie Ward, double sports person, if I'm not mistaken, played down there at FSU football, then played FSU or somewhere else for basketball. So played both sports, a dual sports person. Played football and basketball, point guard for the New York Knicks back in the 1999 finals when they played the Spurs and came up short 4-1, gentleman sweep against the Spurs with Latrell, Patrick Ewing, and Allen Houston. I think Larry Johnson, and I think it was Marcus Camby and Kurt Thomas. Those guys had a great team, great organization. Shouts to Philly. They're going to do their thing regardless. Like I said, AI and Dikembe, rest in peace to him. Those guys, Eric McKee and Eric Snow, all those guys. Matt Greer, Mike Geiger, Ty McCullough, all those guys in Philly back in the day in 2001. I bet it's the finals. I think Philly, they have a shot. I think the Knicks will beat them in 4-2. If it's a 7, possibly, but I think 4-2 Knicks over the Sixers, and I think Cleveland will beat Detroit in 6 games, maybe 7. I got Cleveland advancing in that series in 6, with James Schroeder and James Harden, Dennis Schroeder, and Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That started lining up. Max Strus, he was down there in Miami shooting that thing out. We was down there in Miami, 2020 finals, against Taylor Short against the Lakers in 4-2 in the bubble. Great showing, Tyler Hero and those guys had a great showing. But yeah, man, had to, get them a little shout out, had Jimmy Butler and all those guys over there, yeah, man. We need Kevin Nunn, all those guys, yeah, man. Bam, I think Bam was a rookie probably or a sophomore or something. But yeah, all those guys was balling out there, man. But shout out to them, Miami Heat organization. Pat Riley over there, great mind, great basketball mind, the legendary. Started with the Lakers back in the day, but ultimately I think got off subject there. But ultimately I think the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers will advance over the Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons has a great organization, but I think they just need another piece, another year to gel. They might flip it in advance in 7 because they've been ready too. So young pieces gel together and figure it out. And it's always a story to be told in the conference finals and the finals. At least they might get a chance to win. Get a chance to win, bring the championship back to Detroit. If they can. Like they did in 2004. With Chauncey Billups and Rasheed Wallace. Tayshaun Prince, Richard Hamilton, Lindsey Hunter. Ben Wallace, all those guys over there, Sonny McDyess came through, Chris Webber came through there a couple of years later. It had a great squad over there. Guys, a couple names I can't remember, but great organization always. Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, back in the day, won back-to-back championships, beat the Bulls. when Jordan was a baby. You know, Michael Jordan was a baby. Lord forgive me. Nah, I'm just saying, you know, that was my goat. So I gotta, you know, go with that and gotta, you know, stick to what I know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the Pistons, man. The Pistons have a great organization. They come and go, man. You know, I'm gonna get them a couple, and get on out the way. Motown, Motor City, home of the Motown. Smokey Robinson, Berry Gordy, Temptations. All them guys. All those guys. Jimmy Ruffin, David Ruffin. You know what I'm saying? Smokey Robinson. Yeah, man. Eddie Kendricks, rest in peace. Rest in peace, David Ruffin. Rest in peace, Paul Williams, and all them was great. I watch that story all the time, man. But Detroit could possibly win, but I have Cleveland winning in 7, and that's just what it is. Fuck it, it's Cleveland in 7, the whole 7. Cleveland in 7, New York in 6 or 7. Like I say Cleveland. I say New York in 6, 7. I say New York in 7 because Philly ain't gonna lay down. They ain't just gonna lay down and let them do what they gonna do. But Knicks gonna handle what they gotta handle, but the Philly gonna show them, give them a pushback, show them, give them a bounce back, Ain't gonna so lay down, make it easy. They don't give it to them now. I'm just saying, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just asking, but I'm just saying, yeah, man. The Knicks in 7 and Cleveland in 7. Knicks in 7, Cleveland in 7. Man. All right, nigga, go on. Peace and love, nigga.